All right, well, it is just about, I guess it's 6:30, so we can get started. Thank you guys for coming tonight. I wasn't sure if we'd get many folks with the beautiful weather. I figured you'd all want to be outside in the parks, but I'm glad that you're here to hear about the parks. My name's Shelley Tender. I am the Interpretive Services Manager for Medina Country Park District. That just means Education Manager, if you're not sure what Interpretive Services means. I work out of the Nature Center that's in Sharon Township called the Owenslager Nature Center. People been there before? Formerly known as Wolf Creek. So same great place, just different name. I've been with the Park District for 20 years. I just celebrated my 20th anniversary, so I feel like I have grown up in the parks. I've seen a lot and done a lot. I'm also a Medina County resident. I grew up in Granger, so just down the street from where I work, which is awesome. So today we're going to be talking about the Park District. I was invited to talk about what I do. So when some of you are asking about some of the planning projects and wanting particulars, I'm not your person. I'll do the best that I can with an answer, but if you really want to know more about like particular projects and land acquisitions, that's our director, Nate. He's always happy to take questions from folks. You can just call our headquarters office. But I'm going to be talking about some of the projects that we're working on and highlighting the 60th anniversary and what we do as a department. So the first 5 minutes or almost 5 minutes of the presentation is a lot of pictures and music. So, and many of these photographs were taken by Mr. Chris Delacourt. I'll give Patty a nod. I love that slideshow. Our former director actually put that first part of it together many years ago, and I've always used it because, number one, it's like a walk down memory lane for me. But all of those pictures were taken in Medina County parks, every single one of them, over the years. And I think it just really is a good pictorial display of our mission, which is that we seek to enhance the quality of all life through education, conservation, and the protection of natural resources. We're here for everyone and every living thing. And I think that slideshow really kind of depicts that for us. So let's start with some fast facts. We were founded in 1965 as an organization. We didn't get our first park. Some of you were in here when I was talking in the beginning. Our first park that we opened was Greenleaf Park in Wadsworth in 1972, but we were actually formed in 1965. We are governed by a 3-person board of commissioners. We always have been, and we still are today. Those people are not paid, but they do, they meet monthly and help us decide the direction that the park district is going. We're funded by all of you, except for you.
Which I did not know.
Yeah. So Hinckley Township is in Medina County, but Hinckley Metro Parks was here before us. I think they're, over 100 years old. So they have a park in that neck of the woods, and so the tax dollars from Hinckley residents go to Cleveland Metro Parks, where everybody else in Medina County goes to Medina County Park District. We've been very fortunate in the last, many years with our former director and our current director that we get a lot of grants to do the things that we want to do. So while we're funded by the taxpayers, we're also using a lot of grant dollars to get land and to improve that land.
And where do the grants come from?
Different places. There's state.
They're not federal grants that are.
Some of them have been federal. Some of them are state. But in the last 6 years since Nate's been on board, he said $15 million we brought in grants to help us with, like I said, land acquisition and then cleanup of those properties and helping us to get them open. So currently, and this number keeps changing, so I'm going to go with this number today. Currently, we manage over 9,000 acres. When I started in 2005, we were at 4,000. So we've been continually growing. In Medina County, we don't have the opportunities to get vast tracts of land. They just don't exist. So usually when we're getting properties, they're a couple hundred acres or less. And so if you're trying to compare with Cleveland Metro Parks, some of theirs are a lot larger because they had the ability to get bigger pieces of land at one time. But it's pretty good for, I think, it's on the next slide. I'll wait. So we have right now 27 open public sites and over 50 trails. And we finally, just last year, got to the number of 40 employees. It stayed right around 33 for the longest time. So if you think about that, 40 employees, that's the whole district. That includes education, admin, planning, park police, and natural resources, everyone. So it's still a very small park district in terms of employees. So there's a nice map of where our parks are located. That 9,000 acres is just about 3% of the land in Medina County. So not that much, but a nice number. And then on the bottom, you can kind of see how we've broken down our designations for parks. Medina County is 270,000 acres, by the way. So we have parks, nature preserves, multipurpose trails, and wildlife sanctuaries. And each of those designations are a little bit different. A park is one of those where you'd find lots of active opportunities, like, there's going to be a picnic shelter, there's probably a playground, there's a place to go fishing, that kind of thing. Nature preserves have a little bit less. It might be a hiking trail. It could have a picnic shelter, but it usually doesn't have those active components. Multi-purpose trails, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And our wildlife sanctuaries are 2. Those are where we devote those properties specifically to the study of wildlife. So we don't allow pets at those sites, and that's at the Owenslauger Nature Center and Granger Wetlands. Those are the only 2 sites in the Park District where you may not have pets. And there's no picnicking and that kind of thing. So let's look at some of the unique projects that we've got coming up and some of our unique amenities. This has been, the last few years in the Park District honestly have been just amazing with the growth. We have so many projects. Again, I'm not the expert in all of the planning, but we have so many things. So this is really just a brief highlight. And certainly at the end, I'll leave room for questions if you have them. So I think I'm sure all of you in here have heard of Chippewa Lake. Anybody been to Chippewa Lake Park when they were a young person? That's awesome. I moved to the county in '78, so I never got that opportunity. But we did a bunch of different surveys with the public to develop our master plan. And then last year, we completed the major cleanup, which we got a grant for. So, several $1 million just to clean up all the infrastructure that was left in the park. We're talking asphalt, all kinds of debris from buildings, random stuff that was in the buildings, garbage. So all of that has been done, and now the next part of the process is to get it developed to get people in there. And that's going to happen over time. Probably the whole entire plan will take about 10 years to complete. That's not unusual. It's a pretty big site. But we try to get people on properties as soon as we possibly can. So look for more information coming this year in 2025 about what's next for Chippewa Lake. And those are just, the Ferris wheel, if you're not familiar, is still there. It's still on site. Last I heard, and again, things change, I think we're keeping it. That was the plan, was to keep it and turn it into like an interpretive piece, just, for a nice visual.
Is there anything else left, like there is a marker?
There was the track for the tumblebug and a few cars, the wild mouse ride track. There was a big bar for the swinging cages, I think, or flying cages. I don't know what out of that they've decided to keep. We also have to keep in mind safety. We don't want to have something there that could be potentially harmful to people. So, there's just remnants, really nothing complete. We recently had entered into an agreement with the Chippewa Lake Historical Museum. So there's the corner of, Longacre and, why am I blanking on the road? Right through Chippewa. Help me. Lake. Thank you. Lake and Longacre is where the museum sits. So they're in the process of remodeling that. So it's park owned, but the Chippewa Historical Society will now have a home, which they don't have one. So that's kind of cool. And they'll have some displays and exhibits in there. Typically, when we partner with an organization, there's always a program component on their end. So they have to do a few programs for us per year. That way people can get in and enjoy it. We also have a birding and bridle trail, which is new out there on Ballish Road, almost across from the Crable Shelter. It's closed during the winter. It opens up, I think, in April, but it's a great place if you have horses. It's a little bit longer of a trail. You can ride it, and great birding opportunities as well. This is one of my favorites. I forget what year we acquired this. It's been a couple years, but this was the Brown Trump homestead on Route 18 that's right by Medina Hospital. Are you guys familiar? So the gentleman who had owned that, when they had passed away, they had left in their will that they wanted to donate it to a nonprofit group, and they got proposals from a couple different agencies. And we, with our Friends of the Park group, because the Friends is nonprofit, we're government, put in a proposal and we won. And so this belongs to us now. It technically belongs to the Friends, and we're operating it under the Park District. But it's a really great demonstration of collaboration, which I think the Park District has always been good with and still continues to be good with. So we partner with Hope Recovery, who owns Kathy's house, if that's familiar to you. So inside, not in this Victorian home, but there's another home that's behind it. There was 3 houses on the property. It's a recovery unit for men going through their rehabilitation program. So they can live there and they can work on the farm while they're going through their program. And it's really kind of amazing what they've been doing. So the men have built a greenhouse, they've put in a garden, they've got animals there, they've painted, they've done everything, all of these things. The food that they grow gets donated back to Feeding Medina County. So it's just kind of a win-win-win all the way around, and it's a really nice partnership. So that one will have, I've heard that there's going to be an open house this year for the first time. We've been doing some work on the Victorian home, needed a new roof and some things. So this year they're planning on having an open house so that we can get the public in there and check it out. It won't be one of those places you can just go visit though, because of the partnership with Hope Recovery. It's not going to be like open to the public all the time. This is just a highlight of some of the amenities. We have the Allerdale Playscape, which is fairly new. It's farm themed. It won an award from the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association last year. That's pretty neat. Hidden Hollow Camp is down in Lodi. It's the only place in the Park District at this point that people can camp. We've owned it since the 80s. It was a former Girl Scout camp, and so it is used by youth groups and has been used by youth groups for many decades for camping, but we also now reserve it or let the general public reserve it. The little cabin, somebody had asked me about the little cabin at Greenleaf. No, it wasn't always there. It was moved to the site in the 70s. It was found elsewhere in Wadsworth, and it's got a little a little garden next to it that's been maintained by the Medina County Herb Society. They've been maintaining that garden since the 80s. Most recently, because the light requirements have changed there, and it's not really a great place for growing a lot of culinary herbs, we've kind of transitioned it into a shade native garden. And they're trying to pick plants that like Native Americans or early settlers would have used, plants that were already here in this country, and so we're working on that. Hopefully there'll be some signs up there this year that will talk about some of the plants in the garden. And then at Mugridge, somebody said they walked there today. We have a story walk that we collaborate with the Medina County District Library. So each season a new story goes up, and you can take your little ones or just you, and you can walk along the trail and read a story each season. And that's been a nice partnership as well. The Mugridges, just by the way, if somebody donates a piece of property to us, just gives it to us outright, we typically put their name on it. So Mugridge, Allerdale, one that's coming up we'll talk about. If you see those names on there, that means the property was donated to us. We didn't have to purchase it. So that leads me to this one. This woman is Dee Dee O'Neill. She lives in Westfield Township, and she donated her, I gotta get the acreage right, 203-acre property, which is the single largest donation we've ever received. And remember, I said earlier that usually when we get donations, they're on the smaller side. So 203 acres at once is the largest donation we've ever been given at one time. So her park is supposed to open this year. And Dee Dee O'Neill is somehow related to the O'Neill family from Summit County. So she didn't want their name O'Neill on this property because of confusion. So she's a Lord of the Rings fan, and so she picked the name Rivendell, which I think is really awesome. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you'll know what that means. So she's named it Rivendell Nature Preserve. It's stunning. It's a stunning piece of property between Greenwich Road and Route 224, just outside of Westfield Village. There's a lot of woods in there, beautiful spring wildflowers. So the first phase of development is underway. A parking lot is already there. It'll have a small shelter. There's a fishing pond. There'll be a small natural trail kind of around the pond, and then the second phase will get you out into the woods. So that one's going to be pretty exciting. So hopefully in the fall that one will open. Shotwell Gardens, that's the next one. Liverpool Meadows. Liverpool Meadows is out in Valley City. It's one that is, I think, just might have gone out to bid for design. So the plan is really just to have a nice nature trail there. There's not much else that we're going to put in there, but it has access to the Rocky River. The branch of the Rocky River flows through there, and it's real beautiful. That's one area of the county that we don't currently have an open park, so this will be nice to have another open site out in that area for those folks. And then Shotwell Gardens is connected to Lake Medina. So if you're familiar with Lake Medina on Route 18, goes between Route 18 and Granger Road. This piece of property is off of Foot Road by Foot and Reagan Parkway at the corner there. It was donated by the Shotwell family. Those were the folks who used to own all the stop and goes, if that rings a bell at all. So they've donated, it's just a small parcel, 25 acres, but we're currently in the process of creating the actual design build plan. That's one I actually have sat in on, so that's been an interesting process for me to see. So we're going to be developing some things that were important to the family. Were having all accessible trails. They had a family member who was in a wheelchair, so that's important to them. They love, gardens, so hence the name. So we'll have some different types of native plantings in there, maybe a sensory garden. There's a lot of ideas being kicked around. Potentially an amphitheater, and then a shelter as well. So that should be a really nice site, and it'll connect, kind of connect Brown Trump to Lake Medina in a way, because they're very close in proximity. We say that it's supposed to open in 2025, so we have to get going. It's already, we're in March, but it's getting there. All right, so those were the projects. Now I want to talk a little bit about me and my team. So this is my lovely crew. We are the interpretive team. Interpretive is a word that just means, we interpret nature for others. And just today, I decided to make our own little mission statement. So what do we do for the parks? Basically our goal and our main job is to get people in the parks and to enjoy them and want to keep coming back and create good stewards of the environment. Sounds pretty simple, right? So all of the programming that you see, any of the events, while we may not lead every one of them, we're coordinating it, somehow we're involved, and that all goes through our department. We work out of the Owenslauger Nature Center in Sharon Township. That's where our offices are. The rest of the park staff is out in Medina, across from the county home on Deerview Lane. So that's where everybody else is except for us. And we also have a second nature center in Brunswick called the Susan Hambley Nature Center. So we just finished program numbers for last year. Total visitation for both nature centers combined was a little over 18,000 people. So we get a lot of traffic. Our Susan Hambley Nature Center is very small. We're only open on weekends, but we get a decent amount of traffic through that. That center is, if you're familiar with the Winking Lizard or Cleveland Clinic, it's right in that area. It's kind of behind the Cleveland Clinic, next to the Winking Lizard, right on Brunswick Lake Peninsula. So we're only open Saturdays and Sundays 12 to 5 there. We also do lots and lots of programs. So just a brief overview. We pretty much do it all. Obviously, children's programs. Get a lot of questions for people like, oh, do you do a lot of things for kids? Absolutely, but it isn't the only thing that we do. We do a lot of programs for all ages, but we also do school programs. Any school in Medina County can bring their students to us for free. There's no charge for what we like to call field studies. So our classroom is the outdoors. They come to the center, we take them outside, and we teach them whatever it is they've signed up for. So we have, habitat classes, things that talk about life cycles, food chains, all that type of fossils is a really popular one. And we had probably about 2,000 students that came through last year. Now that number is going down a little bit, unfortunately. Schools are changing. Some of them are not allowed to take their kids out for field trips anymore, but we still do get a good showing. Wadsworth is probably our best. We get a lot of the Wadsworth schools. Second would be Medina. But we will see the other school districts as well. Even Black River will occasionally come out. Lots of hiking programs, as you can imagine. We do a natural discoveries that's naturalist guided. So this is, if you think about summits, what do they call it, the hiking spree? This is kind of like that for our hiking stick. You can earn a hiking stick, but it's naturalist guided. So you go out with one of us and you'll learn something. We do them on a Sunday and we do one on a Wednesday every month. So you're going to go out and learn about a nature topic and work towards your award. But we know that people like self-guided. So we have one in the fall, but we also have one that's in the spring. It's called Strolling Through Spring, and it's self-guided. You just go out to the parks. I forget how many. I think you have to hike 5 of 8. This one is intended also to be more accessible. So for folks who can't walk that far or maybe have mobility issues, this is a perfect program to get them out and get them participating in a program where they can earn an award. Does anyone in this room know George Parmalee? Oh. Patty, you know George, don't you? You remember George? Well, George is a Wadsworth resident. He is an artist, a very good one. He used to work for B.F. Goodrich as some sort of marketer or something, and he does characters. He's known for his character drawings. He's done them with presidents, all kinds of people. He used to do them at the Canton Football Hall of Fame, so George is a pretty big deal. But he makes our award for us. He draws a picture every year. And it doesn't seem like much, but once you start collecting them and you see the different characters, he does a different character every year with little tennis shoes on, it's pretty neat. So our very own George Parmalee provides us with the award for that. Art and craft programs. I didn't mention it, but you know, Owenslager Nature Center was named after Ruth Alderfer Owenslager, who was a very prominent person in the Sharon Township area. But she was very into the arts, and so when she left her property, she had a couple, you know, things that she really wanted from us. She wanted us to teach people about outdoor education. We do that, but she also wanted us to teach people about the arts or provide opportunities to be involved in the arts. So we'll do art and craft programs. Sometimes we'll bring in an artist that will do something. Sometimes we'll do it on our own if it's a craft project. People really seem to like those, so we do quite a bit of it. Family nature programs, that's for people of all ages to participate. We do lots and lots of those, and we try to keep most of those non-registration so that there's no barriers to joining. If you're free that day and you can come, you can come. There's no commitment. You don't have to sign up in advance for most of those. We do them on all kinds of topics at all of our different parks. Outreach programs are things like this. We can come out and speak to groups on various topics. We have a list online. We can go into the schools sometimes for special events. We don't typically take our school programs in, but special events or, you know, to other community events and teach people about whatever it is we want to bring that day. We've done puppet shows for senior centers. Seville Library, that was the one down there in the bottom. I think I did a pollinator program. So we do lots of outreach. And then partner programs, like I mentioned earlier, we partner with a lot of groups. We have an astronomy group that we work with out at the Letha House Park. They have their own observatory, so that's this reddish picture down here. Their observatory roof actually rolls off, and they have a big telescope in there. Plus, all the members bring out their telescopes, and they set them up, and they'll just teach you all kinds of things about astronomy. They're the experts. That's what they're good at. So it's a great partnership for us as a small staff to work with these other experts to provide some additional programming. Their programs are really great. We have the train group up there on the left, the top left. They have these, I don't know what the scale of the train is called, but adults can ride them too. So we do programs throughout the summer and fall where you can go out and ride the trains. We partner with Bike Medina County to offer some slow rolls. And lots of other individuals sometimes. The lady down at the bottom, she was a Henry David Thoreau, I want to say impersonator, but she was just very into Henry David Thoreau. And she was a teacher, and so she would do these programs where she would, you know, dress up and go out. And that happened to be at Mugridge. We put one of her books that she authored in the story walk, and then she came out and did a program with that. So all types of different different programs we can offer that way. And then special events, we do, if anybody's ever been to the Nature Art Fest, we do that at the Owenslager Nature Center in the fall. We have artists that come in and sell their beautiful items. We have the Earth Day event that'll be at Buffalo Creek in April, coming up in April, and several other things. Somebody mentioned Pioneers in the Park earlier. We no longer do that, but we did that for 30 years. So lots of different special events. And then for our 60th anniversary, it's not out yet, but on April 19th, I should have brought one just to show you as a teaser. We're going to have a Parks Perks Challenge. So we have, I don't even know how many challenges are in it, but it's a lot. It's a big 11 by 17 piece of paper, all kinds of challenges so you can go out into the parks, gather information. The more challenges you do, the more awards you'll get. It's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese. The more points you earn, the more prizes you'll get. People seem to like these self-guided activities. We did one for our 55th anniversary that was really well received. So you can look things up online, you can go into the parks and find information, and you can attend events, and all of these things, you know, you'll earn more points. We're going to have a culminating event in October where people can come to turn their challenge in and get their prize. So we hope that that's pretty popular. Watch for it to come out on April 19th. We'll have the forums at the Nature Center, at park headquarters, and at Hambly Nature Center as well. Pretty much everything that I've mentioned today, any program that you want to learn about or find out what we've got to offer, you can go online on our website. It's all linked there. We have a YouTube channel. Especially this is good for, I think, anybody who might be housebound. If you can't get out to the parks, we do a lot of videos to take you with us outdoors. So if you check out our YouTube channel, you'll see all kinds of videos for all the footage is from right here in Medina County. All of the animals are right here in Medina County, so that's pretty fun. For a hot minute during COVID, we had a TV show here in Wadsworth on Wadsworth Cable Access TV. Did anybody see it? Nobody? It was called Wild Medina. We did a couple episodes. It was a lot of fun. I think they're still on there. But they frequently put our videos on Wadsworth Cable Access TV. And if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, we utilize volunteers for lots of different things. Anything from helping us with programs to maybe leading a program to helping us do trail work or battling invasive species. So we have an application online if you're interested in doing that. But last year, we had about 217 volunteers on our active list, and they gave us over close to 11,000 hours of service. So again, with a small staff, volunteers are super, super important. You can also join Friends of the Park if you're interested. That's our support nonprofit organization. Everything that the Friends does is to help Medina County Parks. So if you're a member, you know, anything that you give to the Friends is in support of us. So they're a separate organization, but they're directly related to us. They sponsor, I didn't put this in here, but they sponsor a native plant sale that's in the summertime. I'm actually the grower of said plants. So I grow all the plants and then I donate them to the Friends, and then they will sell them, you know, as a fundraiser to go back to the Friends, and the money goes back to the Park District. So it kind of is all connected. You can find, they actually have their own website now. That was new last year. So friendsofmedinacountyparks.com. You can check them out.